I don't know.
Smile.
So I think everyone is caught up back here. Is there a couple of people still filtering through?
Possibly.
Yeah, it looks good to me. So back here on the left, this is actually where they found a little bit of low-grade ore up here. They didn't find a lot of it, unfortunately, and it wasn't worth the time to actually go down there spending money to drill it all out. So my boss ended up sealing it off, so none of our 2-year-olds can escape from us and live like miters down there. But we left a lot of the equipment alone at the top because it gives you the idea of how they were working. It's called a winze up here. Winze stems from the really old Germanic word meaning to winch. The idea is to lower the ore bucket in and out of the ground on an early cable or a rope. And our mining company is so old, when they started in this part of Virginia City, they were using regular hemp ropes for 4 years. Braided wire came 1863. Braided wire was invented in this part of the planet by a guy named Holiday. English guy, cable car, Golden Gate Bridge out in the Bay Area. This guy came out here and invented the very first large flat iron wire rope for us. Down at the left-hand side, this is one of our inventions. Normally, braided wire does not catch your attention, but I want you to remember this braided wire was revolutionary, state-of-the-art, saved lives. Helps you all appreciate how far we've come in 150 years. Now, the younger guy was lowered into the ground with a pickaxe and a shovel. You make the tunnel longer and fill up the ore bucket with just those couple of things. And when you feel like the ore bucket is full, the only way to communicate with each other back then was by ringing bells. So they figured out a code for the bells. 1 ring means they want you to hoist. 2 rings, they want you to lower. 3 rings means I'm riding the ore bucket, drive it slow, I don't want to die. You pull all the rocks and dirt out of the ground, and up here you dump them into a wheelbarrow to haul around. Wheelbarrow was used in a lot of our smaller mines because it's a lot more mobile than the ore cars. Ore car that we have up here is for larger mines. And this is the one that you guys use in Minecraft. It's a half-ton ore car. It holds 1,000 pounds. Still be pulled around by men back in the day. But they would need a rail under our feet to do that. And if we had a rail down here, it would burn up about 12 inches of headspace. So I know you feel crammed in now, but let me tell you, 5'4" was actually kind of tall in the 1800s. If you were 5'4" to 5'6", you were more likely going to be a armed security guard than a miner. If you're around 6 feet like me, just shy of it, 6 feet tall guys, we were world famous boxers. And you poor guys taller than me, you all would have been Martians. Congratulations. So the next spot on the way, the next spot is going to be one of my modern tools. Your group is a little large to fit everyone in that area, so I'm going to tell you what you're going to see passing by. In the dark, I got a black light. Black light is a nickname for ultraviolet lighting, right? And that creates an effect we call fluorescence. There's a video game called Terraria that actually talks about fluorescence a little bit, and you can hunt for minerals and gems with black lights. Nowadays, modern day mining, they use high-grade black lights to actually see a lot of things in the ground. Actually, most black light posters and t-shirts are made out of ground-up minerals. So if you shine a black light directly on a mineral, you can get a lot of colors. Red, green, yellow, and orange is so common, they call those 4 leverite. When you find leverite, you leave her right there. It ain't gonna make you money. But this mining company that you're in is so old, we are 8 years before dynamite was invented. So the original guys did not get to use dynamite at all in all of our original mines in Virginia City. Instead, they were using a guy with a pickaxe and a guy fall behind him with a sledgehammer or a shovel, and they did that for about 8 years. Black powder was available, but black powder is very unstable, very dangerous. It's like TNT in Minecraft. And if you use it in areas like this that have a lot of soft ground, it'll kill guys. So dynamite was what they wanted to use. It was a lot more stable than black powder. Dynamite was invented 1867 by a Swedish chemist named Nobel. Nobel Peace Prize is in fact the same guy that did dynamite, as ironic as that is. To get the dynamite fit into the rock, you were still using hand drilling. One guy back here would hold a chisel up against a rock. Another guy took a 12-pound sledgehammer, and your job all day, every day,
Wow.
was to hit that little spot right every single time, 10 or 12 hours a day, and you're working all 7 days a week. They did not even give you a single day off. So the only good thing about the sledgehammer is you took turns. You missed and hit your coworker, they wait 15 minutes and then they get revenge. But by the time we hit 1872, things changed again. Pneumatic drills were invented around that time. This drill that I'm leaning on is one of our early models of jackhammers, called a Burley rock drill. It was powered by steam, but they still classified as pneumatic. So with this drill, this was so dangerous, almost nobody called it Burley rock drill. A lot of the original miners called it its nickname, and that was Widowmaker. Killed a lot of guys. Even with a hand crank, this thing overheats, it explodes, it collapses mines on top of you. If you drill too fast, you hit volcanic water, and our water is 170 degrees down here. So when that water sprays you, you're gonna look like hamburger. If the water does not spray you, that water is saturated by sulfur, and sulfuric water creates acid and poison gas. Breathing the water vapor kills you fine. But the number one way that this killed our guys was just everyday drilling. This thing put a lot of rocks and dust in the air around you. And breathing all that crap every single day, that kills you over time. We call that silicosis. And our poor miners did not live very long with all this stacked against them. Our average guy was actually lucky if they made it to 42 years old.
Oh my God.
So I would be close to retirement already. But I mean retirement from the earth, not from my job. And the number one killer up here, it was not breathing related at all. In fact, that's very weird in mining culture, but our number one killer got more miners than all of our breathing problems combined did. Can any of you guys guess what our number one killer was?
The things falling from the sky.
Actually, that is a really good guess, because with all the new dynamite and stuff they were inventing, and with all the soft ground that's around us, collapses, cave-ins, and explosions is number 3 on the list. So that is very close to the top, but it's not number 1. Hit the nail on the head. So number 1 is technically kind of money. Everywhere else, most miners were making 25 cents a day. Our miners made $4 a day.
Whoa.
Is 16 times more than what their peers made. So at the time, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
That was actually so much money that you were making 16 times more than your peers, and that was a lot of money to make. Spend on whiskey. Whiskey was painkiller, boredom killer. Whiskey was even cheaper than water for 15 years around here.
Wow.
So they drank a lot of whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
You all know that Mark Twain used to live up here? Yeah, Mark Twain lived up here like 10 years before he wrote the book Tom Sawyer. He was one of our earliest newspaper guys. So Mark Twain, when he lived up here, he told people that in Virginia City, we do not have a town drunk. We all take turns. And he was right. Very clever guy. I got a couple more things for you in the corner of the room.
Mr. Budge, you did. Oh, at one point there, I almost turned around and went back out.
I know. I see you.
I was like, I wasn't too sure about it.
Like looking out there all the